So in this recording, we're going to draw Frankenstein using just some simple tools. Instead of putting the camera above me and trying to record me drawing it on a piece of paper, I thought it would be easier for me to draw it on screen. Now, the program that I'm using to draw with is nothing fancy. It's actually free. It's a free program called GIMP, and it is available from their website, www.gimp.org, and the reason why I like it is it's free for Windows, for Macs, and for Linux. So definitely give it a try. The only thing that I'm using in addition to the program is I am using a graphic tablet to make it easier for me to draw with. But enough of the technical stuff. Let's go back to the drawing. So we're going to draw a Frankenstein, and it is going to be, a Frankenstein out of my imagination. So it's going to be a little bit more kid-like and friendly because that's just the way that my brain works. But our Frankenstein is going to be based on some simple tools or some simple shapes that we're going to use to create and draw with. First and foremost, we're going to need a square. Now sometimes it'll be a square, sometimes it could be a rectangle, but we need a basic box shape, so from time to time we're going to use those. We're also going to need to be able to draw some circles. Also perhaps a triangle will be good, and then occasionally just some straight lines. Now occasionally we may not use all of these shapes, so that is to say that sometimes I may only draw part of a circle, and it could be up or down, it could be part of a triangle, part of a square, so things like that. So we won't always use the entire shape, but these are going to kind of be the basic building blocks of the creature that we're going to create, our Frankenstein. He's going to be, again, a kind of more lovable one. So let's get started. So we're going to draw his head, and for my Frankenstein, I want his head to be kind of a big block. And it's going to be a little bit wider, so it's not going to be a perfect square if you think about all the sides being even, and it's okay if the lines aren't perfectly straight. So this is going to be the premise for his head. So kind of a square. And we'll give him a body in just a little bit, but let's imagine then a kind of a line kind of going across down here at the bottom. You can even draw one if you wanted to, that you could erase later, because it's certainly okay to erase things. Using this program, I might even come over here and use an undo, but we want to get his ears, because then we'll kind of know when we want to put his eyes too as well. So I'm kind of imagining a line right here, and for the ears, they're going to be circles, but kind of like this one that we drew down here in the bottom, it's just going to be part of a circle. So I'm going to start here on the edge of the head, and I'm just going to draw the curved or left part of the circle. Now we want to do the same thing on the opposite side, so I'm going to come over here and draw the other ear, I guess the right ear in this case. Now if you want to, you can make some other little half circles inside of there to be kind of the inner part of the ear if you want to. So while we're still drawing sort of half circles, let's go ahead and about the middle of this block that's Frankenstein head, let's draw a nose. Now I made mine facing the right, but if you want to, you can have it facing either direction. And while we're still drawing circles, let's also draw his eyes. So I'm going to come out just a little bit from the nose on either side. And if you want to, you can go ahead and color those in just a little bit and leave in maybe the white part in the middle there if you want to. So now we have some eyes. Let's take this bottom shape here and turn it just a little bit, and we want to get the bases for his mouth. So I'm going to draw a straight line going across, so there's one of our lines, and then we're going to draw half of a circle. So see, I messed up then, so I'm just going to erase or back up just a little bit. I'm going to draw a circle coming down. Now if we want to give him some teeth, we need a line going across up here at the top. So I'm just going to draw a line going across. And then if we want to kind of like show his tongue or something like that, or that he's happy, down here on the bottom, we just need a half circle. We don't need this line over here on the left part. We just need half of the circle part. So I'm just going to draw a circle going up. So now we've got his teeth and his tongue, I guess that is. So if you want to, you can go ahead and fill it in. I'm just going to kind of loosely color that in a little bit. This will also give you some time to catch up if you got behind a little bit. So we've got, you know, the start of the face looking pretty good. Now, he probably needs some eyebrows before we get to his hair and some other stuff. So I'm just going to, a little bit above the eyes here, I'm going to draw a narrow rectangle. So just kind of a flat square rectangle there. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now, we're going to draw his hair next, and it's really just a series of circles, but a lot of times you can just draw little loops like this, and that can be the form of his hair, but essentially they're just circles. So if you wanted to draw circles, you could do it that way. So all I'm going to do is start over here kind of on the left side of his head, and I'm just going to kind of imagine that I want the hair to be just a little bit higher than the eyebrows here. So I'm just going to draw you know, part of a circle or a loop up, and you can just keep going if you want to. Doesn't matter if they touch each other or not. It's your Frankenstein. You can draw it however you want to. So there are mine. If you need to go back and correct something, you can. Like I wanted that line to touch a little bit, so I did. So now we've got him looking pretty good. There's his hair. We need to draw him some bolts, so we'll come back to that in just a minute. They're going to be kind of a couple of different shapes, but let's go ahead and draw his body. Now his body really is just going to be some straight lines, so I'm just going to start over here on the left hand side and just draw a straight line, a relatively straight line down, and do the same thing on the right hand side. Now Frankenstein, I think in some of the older ones, some of the older movies, used to wear a jacket. So we're going to go ahead and start the jacket. So somewhere, you know, maybe inside of the eyes, if I'm looking down, I'm going to draw another line down here. And the same thing on this side. So we've got his jacket sort of forming up there. Now, probably need some buttons, so I'm just going to draw a couple of circles for his buttons. They can be whatever size you want to. Now, to make it look like a jacket, we're going to need part of these triangles, sort of like the way that we drew these half circles over here. So we already have this line that would be the one side, so we just kind of need, you know, that piece of the jacket. So I'm just going to come up here and draw a triangle like that. It can be bigger or littler than that one. So that forms the other side of the triangle, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, making it roughly the same size and shape. And then the last part of the jacket is kind of another piece that would trail off and then eventually attach at the bottom, and it's sort of a triangle too, but this time around we just need kind of a different looking triangle like that. So I'm going to start here and draw a straight line out, and then another straight line sort of angling down to form the rest of his jacket lapel, and then I'll do the same thing over on this side. So his jacket's pretty good. He does need some arms. We're just going to make his arms down by his side. So they're just a straight line, but not going straight down, just off at an angle. So I'm going to come up here to where his head and his body touch, because he's pretty wide. And we'll just kind of draw a line coming down there, and a line coming down there. Now usually he was kind of tattered and torn, so we're going to try to, again, kind of imagine we already have one side of a square, so we need the other side, sort of like that. And what we want to do is maybe somewhere along in here on his jacket, come in and add, you know, the rest of our square to make a square there. And then we need some stitches like it's sewn together, so they're just straight lines. So I'm just going to draw a straight line there, there. Maybe a couple more on this side and a couple more down here at the bottom, make it look like it's a patch. And if you like, you can draw another one maybe over here on his sleeve. So I'm going to come over here onto his it'll be my right side. I guess it'd be his left arm, but draw another patch there and a couple of stitches, how many ever you want. You can have more stitches than I have or less. It just depends. We'll do it that way. So he's looking pretty good. Really, the last thing that we need are the bolts up here on the top of his head. Now, the bolts are essentially a circle, and then to make it kind of look like the shape that we want to make it look like a bolt, we're going to draw a straight line off of both ends of the circle, and then another straight line to connect them, and then a line like that, and that is going to be our bolt. So I'm just going to erase those. Well, I said I was going to erase them. I'm going to erase that. So I'll show you that you can erase on here if you want to as well. Now we need to draw those on either side of his head. So I'm going to start right here. I'm going to draw my bolt. And I'm going to draw the straight line like we did just a second ago. Another straight line here. Straight line down. And then we just need to draw 2 straight lines connecting the bolt to his head. And I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So circle, straight line, connect those two, and then make the bolt over there. Now if you don't like anything, you can go back. Like I don't like those 2 lines, so I'm going to get rid of those, and I'm going to draw another one in. A little bit better. I like it now. So not too bad. There is Frankenstein. Of course, now you'd want to color him in with maybe with some nice greens, purples, things like that. But one of the things that you don't want to forget to do is to sign your work before you're done. So somewhere along there, just put in your name. And then it'll be ready to give out to all your friends. You can also put on the date if you want to as well. So thank you for tuning in for this tutorial, and hopefully I'll have another one again soon, and good luck with all your drawings.